What's going on? Boys, arm yourselves. We are discussing society and finance today. That grant I mentioned looks like that might actually happen. It's been approved once, and then once it's approved again, I won't be broke. You can play the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme here because something awful will figure out a way to happen, but it looks like this one's going to go through. And in this process, I am grateful to Slim because he keeps me from being stupid. Initially, Slim wanted to give me a $5 raise. That was going to piss a lot of people off, and it would have meant most of the grant money going straight into my pocket. Instead, I was going to tried to negotiate a 70-cent raise. He warned me that was really stupid, and I shouldn't turn down money, so we settled on a $1.20 raise with expanded hours. And that turned out to be the right move because the negotiation happened before I realized I was broke. But if this goes through, then I'm not hoarding all the money to myself, which would have pissed a lot of people off and I wouldn't have liked because that money should be used. I mean, some of it should go to me because I'm the one who's doing the grant and running the organization and all this shit, but not that much. Most of that money should be used on expanding our operations. But I'll still, now, fingers crossed, not be broke. Or at least be less broke, giving me enough wiggle room in addition to my e-commerce activities, check the pinned comment, not to need to look for answers down the barrel of something. But the reason I bring this up is I needed to attend a series of, I don't know exactly what you would call them, public interviews or reviews things. And it got me thinking about outsiders, right? Because I can go out into the streets and know nobody. But if I go into any non-profit circles, I see basically the same people or hear the same names at least constantly. And I ran into a similar situation here, but I saw a dude I didn't recognize. When I first got there, I was feeling the outsider pressure. People are aware of who you are, and they hate you. They hate you so much, in fact, your attempts to engage with them, even in greetings and small talk, come off to them as you're antagonizing them. Your existence is frustrating. Your efforts to fit in are offensive, right? It's never just a matter of putting yourself out there and trying to fit in. People don't want you to fit in. And in these situations, professionally, my strategy is usually to appear better than everyone else, or more serious. If you're provided papers, read them, mark them up. If you aren't provided papers, review your own papers, the papers you brought, because you should have them, ensure they're relevant, take notes, try to look like you are engrossed in taking whatever this is seriously. But again, I saw this dude I didn't recognize, and he was dressed neither well nor intentionally. I don't typically dress businessy because I don't dress up well, but I dress intentionally toward the persona. This dude was not dressed businessy and was not doing that. And I could detect people starting to peck at him from a distance, which annoyed me, so I started speaking with him both to tell other people to go fuck themselves and also to try to figure this dude's deal out. Because he must be new. I don't know him. I've never even. I don't have a name I could put to that face. Almost involuntarily, I root for underdogs and outsiders. And I've been learning not to do that because underdogs and outsiders suck ass. But this was a crystal experience of why you shouldn't empathize with underdogs or other outsiders. With this dude, there was nothing going on. Every answer was a one word answer. He had almost nothing to do with why he was there. He had almost no understanding of what was going on. He smelled bad, and worst of all, he seemed very engaged in this non conversation. And I'm not telling this dude to go fuck himself specifically. His business and life is none of my business. But it helped me realize something I've been dealing with for over a year now. You are outside the social majority. Just because another person is outside that social majority doesn't mean you two have anything in common outside being outside. The majority is A. You two are not A. But not A isn't the same thing as being B or C. You are united in not A, but the differences between A, the majority, and B, you, might be, probably are, just as extreme, if not more extreme, than the differences between B and C. You have nothing in common. You probably have more differences than you do similarities. They're probably differences that are going to cause issues if you try to integrate with this other outsider. And if you made the mistake of trying to invest something in protecting this other person without or before realizing that it's going to cost you. That single mother situation comes to mind. What we have in common is a shared negative social and financial experience. Different, but similar. Similar in the difficulty, similar in the revilement, similar in the expected to lose or wanted to lose. But outside that, we could not be any more different. And that situation cost me time, some connections strain, some embarrassment, and $10. But the outsiders, underdogs lesson didn't click then. It clicked interacting with this dude who appeared to be in a similar situation and was in a similar situation, but was totally different essentially. The message here is be very careful about identifying with or supporting outsiders and underdogs. You'll want to be especially careful of charming outsiders. The sorts of outsiders and underdogs, you can see exactly why other people don't like them or would shun them, but that you find charming. As in, I know other people are going to hate you for this, but in an ultimately self-aggrandizing way, I like that about you. You are an egotistical sucker. You aren't saving anyone, you aren't doing anybody any favors, you aren't being the change you want to see. You are a sucker who is going to find out why this person is charismatic outside, not charismatic inside. And that is an especially difficult urge to manage. Because if you are an outsider, the standard level outsider underdog support urge is noticeable, will probably make you make some decisions, but it isn't overpowering. Charismatic outsiders are difficult because in them you think you have found the person who understands or is facing circumstances similar to your own and is the same as you. Another person who gets it. They don't get it. You probably don't get it either if there is something to get, but they really don't get it. It's going to be damaging, but I think we'll cut it here. I want to make a video about parasocialization, and that dream fucked me up, so now I want to make a video about women and relationships, because both of these topics have been bugging me lately, but every time I sit down and try to make a video about them, I don't know what to say. I know I want to say something, but I don't have the words right now, and I don't know why. I also want to make a Venom Snake video, but ironically, that's another one I don't have the words for. I think part of the issue is all three of these topics are percolating in the same pot, so there's probably a larger issue tying them all together that I haven't worked out yet. I am very out of it. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't.